All right, welcome back into Market Day Report. I am Scott Schulte, otherwise known as the Cow Guy. Thank you very much for tuning us in here. Thanks for watching us. If you've been with us all day, too, that's some good stuff, too. Hopefully, we've been able to give you some good timing and good information, great content as well. These analysts have been all over it here today. Let's take a look at what's going on in corn. Let's bring that up. Now, this is the last hour of the day, right? So we're not going to, this is the last time we're going to see each other, too. So let's keep that in mind as we see the strengths or weaknesses as we get into the close of the day, because a lot of money will show up at the last second here. So let's bring in that corn board and see what we've got. We're off. We've been off a nickel all day. We pretty much are off still a nickel. We've come back a little bit. 5.55 3/4 is the last quote in SEP. That's about 10 cents off the lows and about 8 cents off the highs. That'll give you an idea about where we sit within the day's trade. Let's go out to the D. That's 5 cents lower to 5.63 1/4. Again, similar range on the day, so you get an idea about what's been happening there in the corn market. Let's go to beans. They're 11 cents lower in August. That's 15.12 1/4, 10 cents off the lows, 15 cents off the highs. That'll give you an idea about where we sit on the day's trade. No, the new crop, 8 cents lower there, 14.16 1/2, and that's 14 cents off the lows, and we've got about a what? 12 cents off the highs. So again, kind of right in the middle of the day's range, kind of hanging out there. Have been all day. Wheat in Chicago, the Chicago wheat market, just slightly better right now. Come all the way back, half cent higher in that SEP board. 7.58 even is last. If you go, now they're all unchanged. September's unchanged, sharply unchanged at 7.57 1/2. Dace is now unchanged as well to 7.77 1/2, 7.77 1/2. That's hard to say, isn't it? And again, there's some decent ranges over there as well by about 40 cents. And we're pretty much in the middle of it. That's what we've got going on in Kansas City, that's Chicago. Kansas City's next. 9 1/4 cents lower there. That's the hard red wheat. 9.09 1/4 is last in SEP. Dace is 8 cents lower to 9.17 1/4. Moving from the hard red in Kansas City, we go to the spring in Minneapolis. Let's take a look at that. That's 7 3/4 cents lower right now in SEP. 9.28 1/4 is last there. Dace is down 6.5 cents to 9.38 even. Let's go to cotton. Well, how about cotton? Well, we got a 159-point rally in the D's. 86.75 is last, 4 points off of the highs. There you go. And that's a great segue to bring in our next guest analyst. It's going to be Ted Seifried from Zaner Ag Hedge. Ted, thanks for being on. It looks as though we've got that Chicago wheat market kind of crawling its way back up off the mat there for a little bit. What are your thoughts on everything out right now?
Well, like you said, Scott, some very big ranges in wheat, but a whole lot of not going anywhere at the moment, right? I mean, we've been 20 lower, 20 higher, and right now we're sitting right around unchanged. Honestly, I think wheat needed to take a little bit of a breather, and so surprised we closed right in here. It's this unchanged level. We're all waiting to see what happens next over in Ukraine in that Danube port, whether that was a one-off attack by Russia or if they're going to continue to do so. I think a lot of the import-export companies are waiting for the same thing, deciding or not sure if they want to insure ships going in there or not. So, yeah, just a lot of question marks about that. Also, is Ukraine going to do anything to retaliate? Are they going to go in and go after Russian grain vessels in the Black Sea or Russian ports? So the dust is kind of settling there. We're waiting for the next shoe to drop, if there is a next shoe to drop. So, again, you know, an unchanged close in wheat kind of makes sense to me today. As far as the row crops are concerned, you know, we're just a little bit easier. I got to say, I don't know if these temperatures that were forecast for this week are going to get quite as warm in some areas. I think a lot of that has to do with Canadian wildfire smoke that was just blanketing portions of the northern Midwest. And also, you know, when we look past this week, it is a bit better or more favorable forecast. Now, for corn, there might be damage done, right, during this rather important week where we have pollination going on a lot of places. But for soybeans, you know, it's all about August weather. We're very curious about what's going to happen with that. Longer-term forecasts are pretty good. But then, again, Scott, we've seen some pretty good longer-term forecasts that haven't been correct. So, again, we are just kind of waiting to see what develops and where we go from here.
It's like kind of hurry up and wish your life away, right? So I hear you. And I think you're right. I mean, well, it's difficult, though, to hedge or at least protect binary events. That's something that everybody's going to struggle with. So, all right, stay right there. We're going to go away. We're going to pay some bills. We're going to come back and talk more with Ted Seifried, Zaner Ag Hedge, after this. All right, so livestock, their turn to take a look at these prices. Why don't we bring up what we've got going on in Chicago, right? That's the live cattle board. Let's see what we've got going into the last part of the trading day. We've got a 37-cent sell-off in August, not much, but 178.37 is last. And again, this is exactly where it was the last time we were there, 47 cents from the lows, right? That's going to give you an idea. Let's take a look at the D. Sits $1 lower to 183.32. That's live cattle between 37 and $1.15 lower. 37 cents to $1.15 lower across the board. Let's see what do feeders have and so forth. They're not doing much. If you go, okay, well, I'll save that for last. But 20 cents lower in the August. 243.05 is last there. And that's still over $1 off the lows. You got to go all the way out to January to see an up arrow. That's going to be one tick higher in that Jan to 248.40. Everything else is between, say, 12 and 45 cents lower. Let's take a look then lastly at lean hogs. We'll get back to our guest analyst. August is down $1.45, up $1.45. Sorry, August they're up across the board. $1.45 higher in August to 101.55, and that's $1 off the lows, and not too far, about $1.30 off the highs. No, 30 cents off the highs. Feb, that's down 90. Let's up 90 cents now, 85 cents, 81.05. So we're up in lean hogs between, say, what, 52 to $1.40, $1.67 higher. That's some pretty good stuff. Pretty quiet trade, though, I think. All right, let's bring back in Ted Seifried, Zaner Ag Hedge. Thanks for being on the show, Ted. All right. What do you think about these livestock prices? Levitating?
Yeah, levitating. Well, the bigger winner here is hogs, right? I mean, the hogs being up pretty decently is good news. We had the break off of resistance. We held support. We bounced back off that. I mean, there's a lot of technical trade going on in hogs right now. But either way, it looks like this uptrend's still intact, and it looks like we're going to go and challenge new highs. Fundamentally, I like the hogs. There's not a lot of weight up front, so that means you don't have a whole lot of market-ready pigs. So, I like the hogs. I like the fundamentals there. I think more upside potential. As far as the cattle are concerned, that's the chart that's a bit concerning. Yes, we're not down a whole lot, but we are really tickling the idea of a downside breakout, breaking out of this upward trending channel. It may be going along with a lot of what the analysts are looking for a seasonal break, seasonal correction in that market. Be a self-fulfilling prophecy. I don't know.
All right. Yep. Great stuff. Appreciate you coming on. I know you're busy. Be careful of that haze, man. Be careful of that haze. All right. Thanks for being on, Ted Seifried, Zaner Ag Hedge. He's in Chicago, where he says it's hazy from the smoke and the wildfires. We don't really